Welcome to the Speridian Advantage video podcast. I'm your host, Greg Turner, Managing Director for Speridian's Innovation and Strategy Center of Excellence. We are going to discuss today Speridian Technologies' Salesforce consulting practice. And with me today is Varun Raghavan, who's our Chief Solution Architect for Salesforce Consulting Services. Welcome to the podcast, Varun.
Thank you for having me on, Greg. Great to be here.
You know, Varun, I don't like to waste your time because I know how busy you are. So let's dive right in and let's discuss why clients choose Speridian Technology Services for their Salesforce service needs. And try to give me a client example of a client engagement.
Yep, sure. So I believe Speridian's strength and the value that we provide our clients is really rooted in the depth of our domain experience, where we are able to really speak the same language of our customers, understand the sort of problems that they're having, and use that knowledge to deploy solutions on the Salesforce platform that really maximizes their return on investment from Salesforce. As an example of a recent customer that we're working with, this is a large health insurance carrier who is working on their transformation journey, migrating from their Siebel CRM to Salesforce. This is really one of the perfect examples where we've been able to use our in-depth experience with the intricacies of the health insurance industry and all the constituent personas which are part of that, from the brokers to the carriers to the customers from across different lines of business, in addition to our experience on both Siebel as well as Salesforce as partners in both spaces. And use that has been really invaluable for this customer on their transformation journey.
Thank you, Varun. That's an excellent example of a client engagement. Can you be a little specific and explain to me what was the business challenge that the client was trying to solve?
Yeah, so the project was all about transitioning from their legacy on-premise sales CRM platform, which had been implemented more than a decade ago, to a modern, state-of-the-art cloud-based CRM solution. And the goal there was to really gain efficiencies across the board, from everything from a lower total cost of ownership for the platform, but also to improve user adoption, embed AI and analytics into their entire process, and really have a platform that's agile enough to adapt with their business, which is what Salesforce is. The challenge that the challenge here was really the depth of customization that they had on the Siebel application. We're really talking about 15 years worth of data and processes that were implemented on the Siebel platform that needed to be translated over to Salesforce. And we're talking about dozens of different business processes, integrated application, and a very complex data model that was custom tailored to their business.
Excellent. Yeah, that sounds like quite a business challenge. How did Speridian and Salesforce address this challenge?
Yeah. So again, coming back to the point that we are experts in this particular space, in the health insurance space, and we were able to use that knowledge of the industry, which and really understand, what a health insurance customer needs to run their business, and effectively use that knowledge to translate what the business's requirements were to and a very state-of-the-art operational model on the Salesforce platform. And also use our technical knowledge of the platform itself to provide out-of-the-box solutions on the platform that can scale with their business, while at the same time being agile enough to accommodate any future changes that may come up, which, if you know the health insurance industry, we're talking about a couple hundred state and federal level legislations which are passed every year, which health insurance customers need to adhere to. So their systems need to be agile and flexible enough to quickly implement those as well.
Right. Yeah, that's important to make sure you have the industry knowledge and the technical expertise to really guide your clients and your customers to help them, come up with the most effective and efficient approach. How does that compare to the competition in this space? How are we maybe different in how we do things?
Right. So maybe I'll give an example of a solution that we provided for
Sure.
one of the requirements that came up as part of during this engagement. So health insurance customers really need to be able to track consent from their customers, whether it's individuals or groups, and it's really about making sure their preferences are maintained, what method you can communicate with them, whether you can communicate with them or not, and in what way you're able to exchange their data with them, right? So this was done in a somewhat rudimentary way in Siebel, because Siebel really did not have any model for capturing consent. So they had essentially built a bunch of checkboxes on their contact records, which tells them, hey, this is somebody we can email, this is somebody we can call, don't call this particular person, right. Stuff like that, right? So if we had stuck with the requirements, what the business was saying, hey, just build these checkboxes here, we could have done that and extended the platform out that way and build it out. But knowing what the reason that this information is being captured, knowing that Salesforce also has been thinking about this, not only for their insurance customers, but across the board, they've been thinking about consent management for some time now. So, and over the last couple of years, they've quietly, starting with the GDPR, regulation, they quietly brought in a number of storage objects, which come together to form a really canonical data model, is how you can call it, or that allows us to manage all aspects of an individual's consent on the platform. So this consent management framework is really available across all editions and provide a very normalized data structure to accommodate pretty much every single aspect of privacy and consent for an individual, while allowing, while being flexible enough to be extended and really applied to all sorts of emerging regulatory environments. Now, this is really perfect for what this client, really wanted, and went way beyond the old checkbox system, which they were using in a somewhat rudimentary way to manage consent.
Yeah, and I think that's really, an interesting point I want to emphasize, because while Salesforce provided the solution to provide, a better framework for consent, management, it was our industry expertise and again, our technical knowledge of both platforms that enabled this client to be successful in adopting this new consent management framework.
That's absolutely right. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, Varun, I'm going to throw you a curveball here. Okay. So one of the things I like to do is, have our guests provide our listeners and our audience with some nuggets of information or some takeaways. And if you could just provide maybe 3 takeaways that our audience can, remember about this engagement, this experience, or working with Speridian.
Sure. So when it comes to Speridian, I've been with this organization for a really long time. And what I can say about Speridian is it's truly a company that, we are really driven by our values. We're always driven to do the right thing, both by our customers and our employees. So that's one thing I would say about Speridian.
Great.
And yeah, in terms of the Salesforce platform, Salesforce started its journey as a CRM. That's still a majority of their business, the sales and service cloud applications, but it's really a lot more than that. It's so what Salesforce's vision, at least how we've seen it, how people who are intimately familiar with this ecosystem, is that they are a platform which is choosing which is trying to provide a 360-degree view of customers to businesses, right? And this covers across the board, sales, service, AI, analytics, IoT, and enterprise communication platform, which they recently acquired via Slack, and industry verticalized solutions through a recent acquisition as well, which was Salesforce Velocity. So it's really a 360-degree customer platform is how we see Salesforce, and not just as a CRM.
Great.
That's what I would say about Salesforce. Yeah.
What's the third nugget?
Well, I guess again, this is we sort of covered this a little bit in the beginning as well, but really, Speridian's strength and the value that we provide our customers would really have to be that we merge our industry expertise with technical expertise, whether it's on healthcare or public sector or financial services. We really strive to make sure all our consultants are really not only technically adept, but also functionally very knowledgeable in the domains that they work in. And that, I believe, is what contributes to our success and to our customer success as well, where we engage with them. Yep.
Yeah, and Varun, I think it's really, it's worth emphasizing again and noting, the focus of Speridian is really on client success and really understanding the expectations for success, and then combining our technical knowledge, our industry domain knowledge, and with our solutions like the Salesforce platform knowledge to bring those successes to our clients. So I just want to say thank you very much for your role today and for your time in providing us some insight into this great client engagement and an example of what it means to work with an organization like Speridian, as well as working with a great partner like Salesforce.
Yeah, definitely.
And thank you to our audience. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Speridian Advantage podcast. For more information about what we discussed today, or to be a guest on an upcoming episode, please contact us at info@speridian.com. Thank you.